The American completed the longest non-stop flight in history. It was around the world and then some, as Fawcett covered more than 26,000 miles. The adventurer ended when he was forced to make an emergency landing outside of London. ABC's Mike Lee has details.
It was a drama from start to finish. Shortly after taking off from the Kennedy Space Center on Wednesday, Steve Fawcett lost 700 pounds of fuel from a leak. Higher altitudes cooled things off, and Fawcett steered the ultralight Global Flyer, made with graphite and costing $1 million over oceans and continents, only to hit severe turbulence over India.
And he had to actually put on his parachute and, to get ready to bail out.
In the final hours of the flight, Steve Fawcett's ground support team here in England is closely monitoring any tiny change in wind direction, temperature, and other flight data. In the end, that sudden failure of the plane's generator forced Fawcett to make an emergency landing short of his planned site.
I'm lucky to be alive.
And it turns out he had another dangerous problem.
Made the landing just in time before because I was also running out of fuel. I only had barely enough fuel to complete the trip.
Today is a reminder of how far aviation has come. From the Wright brothers' flight in 1903, which lasted less than a minute, to Charles Lindbergh, who flew his Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic in 1927. These days, record-breaking adventures that get the most attention are often high-tech and richly funded. But many other explorers, like Sean Birch of Washington, D.C., who has broken solo records on Mount Everest, the North Pole, and Mount Kilimanjaro, have to skimp and save for years. Rich explorers, he says, can cut corners.
Well, I think some would-be explorers, instead of spending the time in the training, says, hey, I have the money, I'll just go out and get a record.
Others disagree, saying that what Fawcett has done is in the finest spirit of adventure.
I mean, put yourself in the cockpit of that little jet. He didn't know if he had enough gas to get across the Pacific Ocean. And yet, there he is giving it a try. That takes guts.
Guts and a whole lot of money. Mike Lee, ABC News, London.